Good morning, everybody. Today is the most beautiful day here in Toronto right now, and we are expecting some major storms coming soon. But before that happens, we're getting close to the holiday season. Hence, my time to talk to you now. Holiday times bring up some things to us. Everybody's all excited. Christmas is coming, the New Year's is coming, and everybody thinks that for some people when they look at it, it's a time for to be happy, to being with your family. But here's the other part. Not everybody sees things in the same way. So let's talk about today of what happens during the holiday times. Sometimes holidays bring upon overwhelmness, anxiety, and sometimes even depression. See, because the holidays don't mean always the best for some of us. Sometimes holidays actually bring out trigger some things in us. Maybe it's you starting out a life over again, gone through a divorce. Maybe you don't have your kids with you this holiday season. Maybe, something has changed. You lost a loved one, and all of a sudden, this is going to be the first year without them. Whatever the reason is, holidays sometimes can be really hard. And I understand that. You see, many years ago, when I lost my dad, who was actually one of the most important people in my life, when it came to some holiday seasons, I came into a real funk. I went diving down. Holidays were very difficult for the first few years after he left, and I had a really hard time facing it. But here's what I want to tell you. Some of the things that I learned during that time. First of all, you got to start to plan. Plan for probable. Maybe you're heading out and you're going to be spending the holiday season with some family members. Well, what if there's certain family members that trigger you? Or maybe there's a time where maybe you're supposed to spend Christmas time and you're going to be with your family during that Christmas time. But what if you're not looking forward to it? Just remember, first of all, I want you to look at it realistically. If you really don't enjoy being with the people, maybe the family starts to get into heavy drinking and then things start to be said or things that trigger you. Remember, you have the ability to say no to things. Remember? No. It's a full sentence. We don't owe any explanations to anybody. This is your life. You're able to do what you want. So when I say prepare for the probable, you know what the situations are going to be. So if people trigger you during that holiday season and you're really not looking forward to being with your family or the people that you're supposed to be with, how about doing little things like saying to your host or hostess, well, you know what? I have a few hall places that I need to be this year. So I'll be staying for an hour or two, and that's it. Then I have to move on to the other. Learning that giving the amount of time that you can be there in a comfortable way that doesn't bring you into spiraling down. It's all about you. So prepare for the probable. You know how your family is. If you're not looking forward to it, let's prepare for what we can do for ourselves to make it more. Spending that time where somebody is not going to be triggering you off and knocking you down. Tell them, like I said, you have multiple events. Even if you don't, maybe it's an hour of being with them is quite enough for you to handle. And you can be there, be yourself, and then leave. And even phone somebody else, phone a friend, or even if you have, sometimes quiet time is just as good. If you're a parent and you don't have your children this holiday season, and maybe it's really hard for you to not have your kids for the Christmas or the time that you really anticipate for them, well, how about planning something? Plan a FaceTime that you can spend at least 5-10 minutes with them on FaceTime so you get to see those beautiful happy faces, that smile that really sets you going upwards. Remember, It's not all about that. You can also create, just because it's a holiday on the 25th doesn't mean that you can't celebrate it even on the 1st. Remember, there's nothing set in stone. You can have time with your kids and celebrate Christmas after. Celebrate New Year's the day after. Nobody says that it all has to be done at one time. And remember one other thing. It's also okay not to be okay. When we think about these things, we can allow ourselves to be down if we need to. But in the meantime, start looking for something where things can be more exciting to you. Planning on a party after the fact, bringing the people together that really make you happy. That's what it's really all about. So remember to do what works for you. It's not about doing for everybody else. Think back to the things that trigger you, knowing what you need to know before it even happens. Because when we're prepared, it can change everything for us. Remember, also, if your family is the type that gets into political situations and all of a sudden you know that the conversation is going to be heading downwards, avoid it. Remember, when it starts to happen, that's your tweak. You step in and you change the conversation. It's easy, and it's also will change everything that's going on. All you know is what is good for you is what you have to do. This is your life. You set the terms on what works for you, not for anybody else. As we enter the end of the year, it's time to release the past. It's time to rebuild from that, to sit back and do some time of reflection. Find out what did work. What can you celebrate? But from those celebrations, what can you learn? Everything that happens to us happens for us, leaves clues of what we can use to bring on a happier, better future for ourselves. So it's time to release the past, stop living in that past, that negative thing that happened to you, and start building what actually did work for you. What made this year so good for you? You always have to find something and hold on to that gratitude and use that to bring forward what the new year is going to bring to you. Bring purpose and love into your life by allowing yourself to, more than anything else, to believe that this next year is going to bring beauty, love, and happiness for you. You see, when you think in a negative way, that's all that's going to show up for you. So it's time now to look forward to a new year, remembering the good things in the past and remembering what you've learned so you can bring that into your toolkit as you move forward into a brand new year, a new start, a new way of building you, and bringing the best version as you know you can. Because you know what? Whatever you believe is what's going to happen to you. So on another note, today at 3, we're going to be doing Let's Get Real. We're going to be bringing a special guest on today, and we'll be talking about some of these things. How we can start building ourselves up instead of knocking ourselves down. Empowering ourselves to be the best version of ourselves. And I know sometimes it seems a little hard because maybe we are going through challenges in our life. But remember, we don't have to stay down. We can move forward by believing, and better things are going to come, and better things are, because it's how we look at life that changes everything. So join us today at 3 p.m. EST, and I want to know what you can do to make this a special day. Good morning, Regina, and thank you for joining. I'm hoping that today is a good start to the holiday season. Everybody stay well, focus on the most important thing of what you can bring delight and happiness into your life. And remember, as I said, you have options. You do not have to show up for others, but you do have to show up for yourself. So it's really important to spend the time before you go out anywhere and being with family members, because they can sometimes trigger us. Once you're prepared, because you know the people that trigger you, you can actually focus yourself on what really matters, and it's all about you. So start the end of the year by building yourself up before you even enter into the new year. Again, look at your accomplishments for this year. You certainly have had, and I don't care how bad of a year it might have been to you. There's something there. You've made it to the end now. If the new year is seeming hard to get to because of all the things that maybe you have gone through, to remember, every day there's new hope. Every day there's a chance of the sun. The sun will shine. It's all about how we look at things. And I understand that from somebody who's been through challenges over challenges. Somehow we all seem to make it through. So let's start learning that most important is learning to be okay with where you are. And if you're not at the top of the mountain yet, you'll get there. Be patient with yourself. It takes little steps along the way. Reach out to somebody that makes you happy. If you're around those that are pulling you down, it's time to bow out. Harsh words are not necessary. Silence is actually golden. So start learning what builds you up, and those are the things you hold on to. I wish everybody a great holiday season. And if you aren't being with loved ones that you need to be with, you can still reach out. You can still be there for one another. And remember, December the 25th can be celebrated the next day or a few days later. Your kids won't know or really care whether they're celebrating it on the 25th with you or you celebrated on the 27th. Time to celebrate is always the greatest thing in this world. It's not important on the day. The important fact is just to celebrate whatever and whatever you can. And the day is today that you have life, you have hope. And that is reason enough to celebrate. Remember, count your blessings. It's so worth it. Join me today at 3:00 and let's start talking more about how we can create more in our lives because we can. That's it for today, guys. I'll see you today at 3:00 and let's start getting really real about ourselves. Let's get really real about who we are and what we can do and accomplish. We have so much in us. We just need to believe in ourselves and tap into that. My name is Glenda Kroll, and I look forward to seeing you today at 3:00, and most importantly, to empower you to keep going. Life sometimes can be really hard, but it also can be beautiful. Make this day count for you. If nothing more, just take a nice deep breath and be proud of who you are, because you are amazing. Thanks so much. Bye for now.